Justin, you want to pray for us?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. Y'all bow with me. Most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day that you've given us, Lord. We ask you to be with this court today as we go through today's business, Lord. Lead, guide, and direct us in all that we do, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
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 Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll go ahead and call Marshall County Fiscal Court to order August 3rd, 2021. And we'll go ahead and get Health Department Director Billy Pitts. Good morning, sir. Give us an update.
Morning. Everybody doing okay?
Sir.
Yeah. I overheard you guys talk about hoping it's a short meeting, so I guess this 45-minute update I have was going to be a disappointment. I don't know. Is anybody else besides me surprised to see the rates of COVID incident rates going up in our community? You know, and I don't mean to put that out there as a loaded question, because I'm going to tell you I'm surprised. I really am. I was hoping that as this summer was progressing that it was going to be one of those times where the health department will kind of just fade off into the background, so to speak, and we're doing our health department thing. And I'm going to tell you, this summer I was excited about it. Man, I had of course done away with the mask mandate at the office, and for the all the folks there. We're reopened up our kitchen, break room for people to get together, and we're holding, meetings, and just, I don't know, we just basically went back to normal. We really did. Because, of my staff, I think 99% were vaccinated, so on down the line. But let me tell you, this Delta variant out there, this thing is wreaking havoc. I don't know if you guys have looked at it and noticed it. I go onto the website and I try to pay attention to it every day. I'm going to repeat that website for the folks here in the Fiscal Court and for the community. It's kycovid19.ky.gov. And I'll repeat that. It's kycovid19, and 19's the number 19.ky.gov. And I point everyone to that website because that's where I go for information, okay? You have access, and by you, I mean the Fiscal Court, the citizens of Marshall County, whoever in Timbuktu. If they want to pull up that website, they can look at everything that's going on, have access to everything I have access to, with very little exception. The only thing I have access to is personal health information, protected health information that that we don't release or put out. And I think there's pretty much everyone in this room or anywhere would agree with that. That's the one thing we'll do. We'll protect that type of thing. But outside of that, you have access to everything I do. And I bring that up here to the Fiscal Court because, when things start happening and things start moving and shaking and public health comes to the forefront again, that's where I get a little bit of grief on social media and things like that, which I don't have social media. My staff, they come and tell me about it. Hey, Billy, here's a, post somebody's posted and they're dogging you for this or that. And I'm like, okay, well, as long as they don't come to my house, that's fine. They can say whatever they want. I'm not going to, I'm not going to sweat it. I don't have Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or any of that stuff. I have none of it, so I'm not on there. I don't read it. I don't pay attention.
We can't tell by the way that you say it.
It kind of shows. So, and my staff, they pick on me about that. But the information's there. I mean, if a person wants to know how many people in Marshall County are vaccinated, they can they can go onto that website. I have to admit, it's a little tricky to navigate, but you think about it. When you've got a state that's put up this website, and they're trying to encompass all this information to make it where people can, I'm impressed. I can barely keep up with organizing folders on my own computer at the office. I struggle with that every day. So it's a little bit, tricky, but if somebody wants to know, they get in there, they mess around with it. I pull it up every day, and I still have to kind of click around, okay, where did I find that type of thing? But it's there. Like right now, we're at a current incident rate in Marshall County of 41.8%. Okay. I'm going to compare that to where we were just a month ago, which I even printed out some little maps here to try to show that thing. A month ago, we were at 1.8%. And you have to forgive, I had a hard time printing this stuff up earlier to get the pages to match up. I did my best, but I gave up. So I cut off a little bit of Eastern Kentucky. But take my word for it. You can go on there. You can pull up these maps. You can look at, okay, where were we June of last year? Where were we last week? You know, you can pull up all these maps, and you can look at it, and you can tell where everybody in the state was. A lot of green, a little bit of yellow here and there. We were doing great. Marshall County's at 41.8%. I'll fast forward, just skip through, and trust me, it's a progressive thing of where we are today in Kentucky. Over half the state in the red zone, Marshall County being at 41.8%. She's got it up there. That's quite awesome. Or Brad, I don't know, whoever's got it pulled up there, Brad's got it pulled up. So there we are. We were the first county over here in the Purchase District to hit the red zone, but I knew that wouldn't be a lonely party for very long, because as you can see, you know, McCracken, Graves, Callaway have all joined the party, and we're all in the red zone. So here we are. So what do we do? You know, how did we get there? I had a call from a gentleman the other day that was, I'll tell you, he was madder than a hornet. Because I let the Delta variant get into our community. Well, you know, we've all done what we can. And I let him, he talked to me for a while. He just really chewed me up one side down the other because I let the Delta variant. And then he got on some other things, you know, illegal immigrants being in our community. He was really wanting me to do something about that as well. I said, well, you'll have to call the governor, call the president, call other folks. That's not my forte. Vaccine, I'm going to just give you a quick update. And like I said, everything's available on this website right here. Across that top screen where it says home, COVID testing, vaccine, advisories. Along the sides, you've got all the reports. You've got, you can pull up the dashboards. And anytime I see the word dashboard, I like those. I'll click on there, pull up a dashboard, and it'll show me the whole state, and I can hover over and, you know, tell me what's available. Or what information is there. You can look at it by the county. You can tell what the positivity rate is, what the incident rate is, what the vaccination rate is. It'll tell you everything, you know, how we're doing. Right now, 13,931 people in Marshall County have been vaccinated. That's 44.7%. And while I'm on the subject of the vaccine, it's available everywhere. I mean, we've got it at the health department. We've got it in the region. We've got it at the hospitals, the pharmacies. And here lately, even the local physicians are getting access to it. We're one of the, matter of fact, I think us, Marshall County Health Department and McCracken County, are two health departments in this region. We're going to be a hub to distribute vaccine to local doctors. So if a local doctor calls up and says, hey, you know, Billy, we need 50 doses of Moderna or Pfizer or, you know, J&J, then we can get them that 50 doses, you know, or that 25, or just whatever they need. So they're not, you know, sitting there trying to store 1,000 doses of any particular dose. So we're going to be a hub for that. We've offered late night clinics there at the health department where we stayed up till 7 o'clock. We did that twice. We've done mobile clinics. We take our vaccine unit and we've gone out dozens of places across the county, set up for vaccines. And we're also right now partnering with a couple of the factories over here. I call them factories. The industries over here in Calvert City. I think Evonik has partnered with us, and we're going to go out there once a week. We're going to set up in their infirmary. And for their staff, they're providing incentives for their staff to come and get vaccinated. So I guess what I'm saying to the group is vaccines are available. It's there for anybody that wants it. And the last thing I'll cover here, so I don't go too long, is the red zone recommendations. And that is available right there on that website in a big red box. It says for anybody that's in the red zone, any counties, that we are to increase our vaccination efforts, encourage masking, encourage physical distancing, encourage that medical people or people that are medically vulnerable avoid social activities, consider postponing large public events, and engage community partners and stakeholders to implement a strong communication plan. And as far as the health department goes, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to communicate this in every way I can. I think I sent out an email the other day to the Fiscal Court, to the commissioners. As a matter of fact, it was the very first day. I think we hit like 31.2%, which had come up from 9.6% just a week prior. We hit that first spike. As soon as I saw that, I started putting together. I said, you know what? I don't want anybody beating me up on not communicating what's going on out here. So I put together a press release. I sent it out. I sent out an email to all you guys. So, you know, I'm going to do everything I can to communicate the best I can. So right now, the red zone recommendations, we are in the red zone. Half the state if not more, is in the red zone, and it's because of this Delta variant. You know, other people have asked me, well, you know, how many people in Marshall County are positive for the Delta variant? I'm gonna throw my hands up, I'm gonna do this, and I know it's gonna kind of make me look a little foolish, and, you know, but here's the thing I've pointed out to folks. We at the health department, nor the hospital, or the pharmacies, or any of the testing agencies in this area, we do not have the capability to test for a particular variant. We spent almost $30,000 for each of the machines that we have at the health department to help us test for COVID. So we do a PCR rapid test using the Abbott ID equipment, which is top of the line, and we can tell you if you're positive or not for the virus, but we cannot tell you if it's the Delta variant or the, you know, whatever else is out there, the British variant, the Excalibur, whenever that comes out, you know, I have no idea. But, you know, but it is safe to say, very safe to say, that the Delta variant is in our community. And that's just going on the CDC sampling. They're saying that about 80% of all cases that are happening right now, or more than 80%, are the Delta variant. And I believe that to be true because of one, we're having breakthrough cases, okay? And breakthrough cases are people that had either COVID before or they've been vaccinated, and they're testing positive again. I'm 100% convinced that that's the Delta variant that you know, that's making that happen. And of course, some of the folks out here too are getting deathly ill, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I mean, we've got some young people, and I say young people, my age and under. I consider myself young, by the way, okay? So we've got some young people out there that are my age and under that are getting very sick with this. So for those that get COVID, and they maybe have the minor symptoms, and they're blessed, very blessed. And I for one, am grateful for that. But we do have a handful of people that are getting sick, and they're getting very sick, and some of them it just doesn't look good. And that's scary. It is very scary. So we all need to be responsible and take care of our folks. Anyone have any questions for me?
So do we know what percentage, though, are breakthroughs, or is that?
I'm going to give you a rough guess, Monty, and I'm going to say right now about 10 to 15%.
Okay.
I'd have to go through. We've got a line list, is what I'll call it, the line list, the data chart that we keep at the office there. Joanna keeps up with that, and I'd have to go through and I'd have to count.
Oh, okay.
You know, and mark it. But we've got the information available. But just at a glance, I can tell you right now, it's about 10 to 15%. But here's the thing: I fully expect that number to increase. I really do. If things go the way they're going now, and this Delta variant continues to do what it's doing.
There's been at least one, Commissioner.
Yes, I know.
The percentage in Marshall County that you mentioned that was vaccinated, 44.7, does that include those who may have been vaccinated in another county or another state?
That website that they've put together is tracking that to the best of their ability. So definitely we have that information for those that have gone to other counties and whatnot. And so what they're doing is they're tracking it by zip code. You know, so when somebody goes in, they get a vaccine, they sign up somewhere, whether it be 2 counties over or 3 counties or another state. That's coming from that federal source. I forget the name of it, but that program that they're using to track that. So yes, the long answer to your question, yes, that includes everyone.
Thank you.
Anything else?
All right. Appreciate it, Billy.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And you guys call me anytime. Your questions, you can give me a call, shoot me an email, send me a smoke signal, something. I'll do my best to help answer the questions.
We'll go to item B on their guest, Holly Darnell from Needline. Holly is the new director. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Yes, I am the new director at Needline right now, and I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to everyone today. I'd like to thank the community for all the support you've given to us this past 16 months, the amazing volunteers who come week after week to stock and pass out food, and this community for all the support it has given us in donations of food and money. Because of all of you, in 2020, we were able to serve 4,295 families and individuals and 3,132 senior bonus packages. We have some new goals. We want to make our facility a friendlier and more welcoming place to come for help. We are looking into fundraisers to have when it is safe to do so. I'm gathering all of the information to start applying for grants so we can do the much-needed repairs and updates our facility needs so that we can serve the community better. Does there anybody have any questions about that?
No, I do want to comment on, because I know Mr. Green is also on the board. I believe David is the new chairman
Yes, he
of
is.
the board. And the efforts that Needline has taken, several of the volunteers that worked down there with Needline have commented on how the changes have been positive. So I'm very happy to see that. And I know we've talked briefly about looking at some potential grants that may be beneficial for Needline. So
Yes, our building is suffering. It needs quite a few repairs, big repairs, and updates done to it. And the volunteers have done a fantastic job at helping to get it all cleaned up and working in a more efficient manner.
yeah. Well, thank you.
Hey,
Thank
Holly,
you.
what are y'all's hours?
We're open from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, from 9 to 12.
Thank you, Holly. We'll go to item C, Parks Director Brittany Hargrove, and give us an update. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so I'm going to start with the easiest of these. Nothing is too complicated today, though, so that's a good thing. It is getting close to time for Christmas. I know I have to think way ahead because we do a lot of planning and a lot of prep out at the park. Don't be shaking your head. It's a good thing. But we are going to open that window for nonprofits to start applying to work the Christmas light show again with us. Starting tomorrow, we will have those applications ready and in the park office. It'll be the same process that we've used the past couple of years where they can submit everything to us. They do have to be a Marshall County-based nonprofit, and they do have to be in good standing and a 501c3 to be able to apply. Last year we had 9 nonprofits that worked, and they made somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 a piece by just working a few nights, and that's such a great thing because they're not committed to having to work so many nights out there. They work 3 to 4 nights, and some of them work 2 to 3. It just kind of depends on how many we have, and then they get that a few $1,000s a piece. So it's a great way to get them out in front of the community, give them an option and a way to raise funds. So again, starting tomorrow, we will have those packets ready at the park office, and they will be due by September the 1st back into the park office as well. We'll put information up on our website, which is marshallcountyparks.org. We're going to put it out on social media, on Instagram, and then we'll also have hard copies in the office as well. So just wanted to put that out there to make everybody aware that that window is opening up again for nonprofits. Okay, moving on along. And the last time we talked a lot about day parks, and there were still a couple of questions kind of up in the air. We've gotten answers, and it's been a good week. It has been like Christmas in my office because I've gotten so much good news regarding day parks this week, which was a much needed change from the way things had been going lately. So Little Jonathan and Big Jonathan were kind of in question, and we have finally been able to track down maintenance agreements that we have with the state. So what that means is Little Jonathan and Big Jonathan are not our properties. They are licensed to Fish and Wildlife. Those are Fish and Wildlife's properties. We only have a maintenance agreement to take care of the mowing and the trash and things at those properties. So we will be fined for dumpster placement when it comes to this contract. I know that's later on down the agenda, but I wanted to touch on that now because I know that was one of the questions we had at the last meeting. So we do have that maintenance agreement in place for those properties, but the ramps and the docks and things like those are Fish and Wildlife's. They did grants to pay for those docks, so that part is on them. We just have a maintenance agreement to kind of mow, trash, those basic type things, and those are in place. So that answers those questions that we had about Little and Big Jonathan. Moving on over to Sled Creek. You should have a copy of a memorandum of agreement that you can look at. This is the big yay moment. I wish confetti could fly out right now because I'm so excited about this. But we are officially a no camping zone at Sled Creek. Yay! It has finally been done. The signage has been removed already out at Sled. So that sign is gone that says camping is allowed for 14 days. The sign is no more. And there is new signage that will be coming that makes that even more clear. And this covers the entire 25 acres. We looked at those maps last time. That whole 25 acres is now no camping. So this is the memorandum of understanding. I did have Tim Reynolds did kind of review it. He was on a call with us with TVA when we talked about this. I think everybody has seen this at this point. But this is what they have come up with to kind of give our sheriff's office kind of enforcement capabilities out there so that we don't have to just rely on TVAP to come out there and handle those things. But this just makes it very cut and dry. No camping for any amount of time, not even overnight, nothing. You can't do it, can't have it. Also, another thing is there's no motorized vehicles off of that roadway. So that's going to kind of keep people from driving off on those loops, going down to the water and setting up kind of back off the water. They cannot pull any kind of motorized vehicle off of that roadway. More signage is coming that will make that more clear as well. So those are two big things that we were able to do. So the other good thing about this, that we were finally able to get this, is because that whole two-phased approach that we talked about to getting the license to sled, that means we don't have to go through that whole process. We can just do a standard license agreement on Sled Creek at this point, because the only reason to break it apart into two parts was to give us some kind of enforcement capabilities. Now that that is done, we don't have to do this whole two-phased license. We can just do a standard license agreement, and then we'll get that 25 acres. We are going to start kind of talking to Fish and Wildlife now to see how much, if any, we can shrink down that 5 acres that they have. So that will be kind of our next part of this process of getting that license secured, so that we can kind of redefine those boundaries as we need to go forward with that. I did address with them, I know that there were some concerns about the roadway and how that red area just kind of covers the road, so there's that area off to the side. They are open to kind of seeing what they can do to extend that zone 6 so that it covers more property off each side of the roadway coming down the entrance. That is a little bit of a process, because it does go way up in the chains of TVA to actually rezone things, but it was something that they agreed with and did see the need for, and that they are going to work on doing. So that can be a part of this license agreement to get that expanded off each side of the roadway so that we can cover that. But with that being said, the fact that they can't take any kind of motorized vehicles off of that roadway would also cover that. So they can't be pulling off there off the side of the road, even in the interim. So that kind of covers us for the time being. Does anybody have any questions about that part?
Could we, Brett, could you put the patrolling section up there?
Here's that.
On, okay, that first sentence there. The county will patrol the property at least as frequently as it patrols similar properties within the county's jurisdiction, including night patrols. What are the chances that we could do, comma, after patrols, subject to officer availability?
Sure.
Just add that little clause in there.
Yeah, I don't see an issue with that at all.
Other than that, I thought it looked good.
Okay, perfect. I can get that change made. Anything else? So if not, I'll just need a motion to be able to make that change and then sign this agreement to get that started on the enforcement.
So moved.
Second.
Changes, correct?
Yes.
There's a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Did you all have any other questions for me concerning those day parks or any of those agreements? Okay, good deal. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks.
Let's see, correspondence, audit engagement letter. This is from Romaine and Towery. You should have got this. This is for audit. We obviously will have another single audit because of the federal monies that we're going to be getting is over the threshold. 750,000, I believe, is the threshold.
Yeah, we can just assume we'll have single audits for the next probably 4 or 5 years.
And we have to make sure that we budget those monies we can use those monies to cover those expenses. Is there any discussion? If none, do we hear the motion to approve Romaine and Towery Certified Public Accountants to do our audit for 2021?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Correspondence, item B. This is an annual grant. I'll just read this. This is the A-Beams award letter. Dear County Judge Executive, pursuant to KRS 311A155 for fiscal year 2021-2022, the Kentucky Board of Emergency Medical Services, K-Beams, has awarded your county a maximum of $10,000 in total as part of the block grant funding assistance for emergency medical services. Awards will again be made by direct deposit on August 31st, 2021 to the account information on file. Your county's information has changed since your last award. Please contact April Jensen at K-Beams. By acceptance of these funds, all parties acknowledge that they are the official recipient for their county and agency, that you have read and understand the KRS 311A155 and 202 KAR 7520, and that you will abide by all regulatory and statutory obligations in those sections. So this is an annual grant, and we've received this for many years.
So it's not
correspondence.
specific to a request. We can use it.
No, it's Brian puts in for it for Marshall County, and
Yeah.
they give these out. K-Beams gives these out annually. It does help. Old business, item A, approve the minutes July 20th and 20th public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Old business, item B, is the waste path agreement. It's kind of what Brittany was just talking about, the day use parks. We've got trash pickup at the actual day use parks, and this is the agreement that Waste Path has submitted.
Move we approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to item C, which is the ordinance 2021-05 Administrative Code, first reading.
An ordinance relating to the administrative code and amendment thereof, whereas the County of Marshall adopted an administrative code by Marshall County on June 21st, 2016, whereas it was determined that certain provisions should be amended and/or deleted to the code, be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Marshall County that the following amendments are made to the administrative code of Marshall County. Amended section 5.3D to remove, and as if you see, all those pay rates are struck out, and amended section 5.3D to add, and so that will remain in the code, but then the new numbers are in there reflective of the 1.4% cost of living adjustment. This first reading of the ordinance held on this third day of August, 2021.
So it's simply just adding the 1.4. It's not the payroll policy. It's not changing anybody's.
Yeah, so the last time when I presented, we were going to do the first reading, the payroll policy was on there. It's now removed from it. And this is just a first reading, so anything from here on, we'd have to have a second reading to make any changes.
We'll go to item D under old business, payroll policy.
So I was instructed to send this to individuals last meeting to get a feel for if it was I guess, okay with them. I got correspondence back from the county attorney to remove the workday, because we had talked about, we've got agencies that are 24/7, there's no need to define the workday, so that's been removed. And also, at the end of it, you'll see, it does say, let's see, where is it? It was added to third-time offenders will have their case presented by the manager supervisor to the human resource director for review of actions up to and including termination by the appointing authority. And that way it'll give elected officials their duty to do that. So I got correspondence from him. Economic Development Director was fine. Maintenance Director was fine. Tim York's office was fine. The county clerk's office, road department was good. I did meet with Roy about the pay scale that we had discussed, and I think we determined that we were good with that. And Michael Gordon's office responded, and I actually met with Eddie, and we talked about it, and so we were good with there.
So this will not be a part of the admin code?
Correct.
It is just a
It's
separate-
basically saying if you are an employee and get paid by the Marshall County Fiscal Court, then this policy will be in place for all of your employees.
So this will be something that will be sent out, if we approve it, will be sent out to all the employees so that they know it, but then also it'll be in the welcome packet or whatever you
Sure.
want to say whenever they're
Yeah.
hired.
Yeah, and we'll rely heavily on our department heads and appointed authorities to make sure it's being followed. And then from a treasurer standpoint, when time is due and it's approved by the manager approving authority and all employees have approved their time, that's her indication that everything is accurate and she can sign off on payroll. I can, yeah.
Yes, I would say if this is approved, current employees would get a direct correspondence. What we've done in the past is have the employee, especially if it's a new hire, have them sign receipt.
Right.
That they get it.
What I would do is, of course, after the second reading of the admin code, if it's passed, I circulate a receipt confirmation to all employees that they've received that, and that would be part of this payroll policy I would put in there.
All right. I move we approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to new business. Item A, HVAC proposal. I'm going to let Brad talk about this. He's dealt with this.
Yeah. So we've had ongoing issues down at the sheriff's office, 911, and even the jail. We, back months ago, hired HMC to do the judicial building preventative maintenance. So we've kind of engaged them to investigate some of the issues that we have down at Sheriff's Office 911 specifically. I just got a proposal yesterday to repair, temporary repair, to the 911, and I believe it'll affect the sheriff's office as well. I think it's a little over $5,000 that we put in.
5498.
So that's a temporary repair. The reason why they did it that way is because in order to replace and fix ductwork, they'd have to procure a lot of material that right now they can't get. If you've been down there, it's hot. I mean, it's very hot. So the issue really right now is we've pretty much depleted our other buildings maintenance line item, fixing various other things throughout the county. So this is, again, a short-term solution, but I think something has to be done. What I've told HMC as well is we don't want to put a Band-Aid on this. Ultimately, we want to fix it from one end of the building to the other. So what do we need to do that? And we're still there. There's a lot of investigating they've had to do. I mean, they've spent hours down there, from the judicial building all the way down to Sheriff's Office 911. So it's a bigger issue than just this temporary repair, but I think this is necessary to move forward. We just don't know how to pay for it. And
The way the building's broken up is just odd.
yeah,
Our deputies' room, my office, detectives, that stuff's on one unit. Our clerks up front, the hallway is on a separate unit.
the lobby, I don't even think the lobby gets any air.
I don't even know what,
It's a sauna right now.
Yeah, but right now, they came and replaced two pieces, that Paducah company that we had gotten back when Roy was still here. So the deputies' room, office, detectives, it's manageable. It's blowing at 68 degrees. But the clerk's office hallway, and that may be connected to 911. I don't know.
I have to assume that it is, just because,
Yeah.
it's a consistent.
But that's at least, we could use all of that to do that, because knock on wood, for right now, the deputy's room is where we were standing the other day. It's cooler. Now, we're still running the other ACs, the
Yeah.
little portable ones too.
Yeah, they've had
but
to go buy two or three.
Three of them, yeah.
Three of them, the portable units,
Yeah.
just to maintain some comfort in there.
We moved one out into the lobby, and that really helps, because our lobbies are completely glass, so in the afternoon time, the sun is just beating down, so. But that helped a lot. But you've still got 911 that's not,
Yeah, they're running fans and,
yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if you can piggyback, I mentioned it to them the other day, that one server room, the server can't get hot or everything goes dead, but it's like the only unit, and that's the only little room that it services, and that's like the only one that's working.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why,
Yeah.
but maybe they can piggyback off that, or we can move one of our portables in there and at least keep it 78, 80.
yeah.
I think the bigger question with this, and I know we've discussed this for several years, is our assets. We may have a facility. I know Brad and I, we've talked about this with this coming up. I mean, these units are old. The facility is old. I know the last sheriff, I talked to him. I know you and I talked about it as far as a location potentially for a new facility for the sheriff's department out the school campus, but that obviously is
Never materialized, yeah.
yeah. But there comes a time with our county assets, that's one thing that we've noticed over the years, is that, and it's not just energy efficient, that's not going to fix, it's like putting lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
It really is looking at our assets and saying, this thing is costing us money. This is just a temporary fix. When are we going to have a legitimate discussion to say, okay, is this facility served its purpose, and it's time to start looking at maybe a new facility? So I think that, we can definitely have more discussions on that, but I think that we're there because we keep throwing money at some of these facilities that we own that, to a certain degree, is hard to justify to the taxpayer.
And obviously, we've got dispatch will be moving out at some point, so that space, we want to create a comfortable work environment for them now until they do move to their new building, but, so that long-term is going to be remedied. And then, like I said, this is a temporary fix. I don't know what the full-blown proposal is going to look like.
That's what worries me, is the
Me too.
replacement cost will be,
And you're
Yeah.
talking duct work, you're talking,
Aye.
it's not just a unit replacement, you're talking duct work. I don't know what's going to be involved with it.
Well, and two, just to update the court, I know, Brad, you spoke with the Department of Labor. Department of Labor has OSHA that falls under it. I spoke with the representative from the Department of Labor as well. And OSHA, there was an OSHA complaint on the facility. We went through all this with AOC, the judicial building, and getting the engineers in and trying to find, what the problem was. This portion of the building is no different. The sheriff's department and the 911 there is actually a visible mode, and when you have the increase in heat, it just, it's a sanitation issue is what they call it. But the testing, we won't get the testing back until, I don't know, a couple of weeks. She really couldn't give me a timeline. But there are some environmental factors that we have to look into as well. Not asking that we make a decision today on these bigger items that we're talking about, but we do have to take in consideration we got some issues.
So, I know at one time, it seemed like you and I had talked about the library, but was it not, there was a functionality issue that you?
Well, the way it worked is when they got their appraisal back, it was
High.
much higher than what.
Yeah.
Even at half, it was much higher than what I felt comfortable bringing
Yeah.
to you all. Now it's going to auction now. I don't
Right.
know what it would go for. I don't know, but, no, that's another building that would need some repairs. I think their HVAC unit, I call it an HVAC, it's a huge refrigeration unit. I think it's end of life too.
Is it?
So you're going
Yeah.
to be pushing that. And then
Okay.
I think you and I had talked about like where the two buildings had come together. You'd have to rework some of that roof possibly.
The new and the old.
That
And
building
that's
older
a
than the sheriff's
50,
I was
office?
gonna
it's
say,
a 50-year-old building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be sinking money into an older building too.
Or our, you know, it's
The back
bigger.
part
You,
is,
you
but-
get more room there, you know, that was the attractive part about it, because you got 13,000 square feet there that, layout wise, it would have worked, but, yeah.
Are the units there rooftop or split system or what?
I don't
At our
know.
building,
Yeah.
Is there?
the condensers are up top. I've got some blower units that are in hallway closets, and so they're just really large split systems, but the heating portion of it, instead of being electric or fuel, it's boiler from the jail, so it's hard to separate. I'm sure it all made sense in 91, but it doesn't make sense to me, because I just wanted to replace a 6 or 8 ton unit
Right.
and move on with life, but
Right.
evidently the boilers or the heating portion of that, and nobody, definitely on the residential side, didn't want to
No.
touch it. They all pushed me to the commercial side, so.
And on that, there were two companies, reputable companies, that they wouldn't even touch
They
it.
just didn't want to deal with it, yeah.
So we can definitely have more conversations on this, about that, but this HMC proposal would definitely be a fix, temporary fix, but much needed. The question would be, where are we going to move the monies from to put into that line?
I mean, I don't know. I really don't.
I mean, we took the roof out of the, was it the fire insurance money, so there's still that there, if you're looking for a suggestion from me.
Question on that, because obviously it's more of a pressing issue. I mean, it's cool outside now, but it's going to get worse again. And it'll take a budget amendment for that.
No, just an appropriation transfer.
Okay.
Which if, when we get to that, if you want to say, add that on, then I will add it on.
That would help in timing wise. That way we can go ahead and execute that agreement with them. And then, so really right now, we can probably get to the appropriation transfer and then, or they can approve that, I don't know.
Well, I mean, if the court says they want it done, I mean, we can move the monies, but we can also tell the company that the court's, if the court approves it, because, I mean, obviously, it's a pressing issue.
We're expecting this to exceed the bid limit though, right?
No.
No,
Not
this
just the
is,
repair, no.
I'm sorry, let me read this. Let me read this. So this is from HMC, this is a quote. This is the repairs for the HVAC unit. HMC Service Company will supply the necessary labor and materials to complete the following according to state, local, and federal code. Inspect all existing duct, seal leaks found in duct system, insulate duct system where it is not insulated, bring in water hose and a shop vac to clean the vapor coil, test units operation. The proposed price is $5,498.46.
Okay, you said that, I forgot that.
Move, we approve it and take the money from the insurance Is
there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's Office personnel.
So as I've been discussing with Brad and Judge about a plan for while I'll be gone, and what we want to do there, I think that brings up bigger issues that we also have in the treasurer's office. And I think that the solution would be to make our part-time person full-time. So go from 2 full-time, 1 part-time to 3 full-time. So not replace her, if that makes any sense. So when we went down to a 2 full-time person office, we had not started taking the transient tax again. It was still being collected by the Visitors Bureau, is that what they're called? So that generates a lot of time commitment. We have crazy amounts of phone calls. We never anticipated all the people that we get walking in looking for the PBA or for an actual criminal court room or to do their driver's license. And every time we get a phone call, which is probably every 10 minutes, we stop for several minutes to help those people, or when they come in the door, we direct them where they need to go. So the sheer amount of time taken from our job to be able to do our actual job is something we really didn't anticipate. We're trying to go paperless, which is a huge time commitment. I have discussed with the state, they will offer a free way for us to collect payments online for our taxes. And there's going to be some setup process and training with that, which my plate's too full right now for me to take that on, so is Desiree's. So that's something we could pass on to her as she comes on full-time if we can do that. The single audit took exponentially more time than a normal audit. And we're going to have them for years with the ARPA money and with the other money we're going to get with the like broadband money and the sewer money and all those other programs. And then in that same vein, the amount of paperwork, quarterly reports, that is going to be overwhelming for me when I already have a full plate. And so we kind of just need to shift. Some of my tasks need to go to Desiree, some of Desiree's tasks need to go to someone else. And then kind of cross-training and having backup, we have not had time for that. I have not had time to learn Desiree's job. If she, for suddenly not here, let's say she was quarantined or something and it was a payroll date, I could push through, you guys would get paid. Now, whether I had to fix it next time, probably, and she right now, she is not prepared to do my tasks. And we have about 4.5 months to get to that point where she will be prepared to do my tasks. And then, I'm looking at my little list. The last thing I kind of have thought about is for our internal controls, which is part of our financial requirement, we need to have a segregation of duties, specifically around cash and money that comes in. And sometimes that's pretty hard with there only being 2 people in the office every day. So I think that will get a little easier as well if we have somebody there every day, a third person there every day. So my idea to cover this, because I know that will be the next question. I have about 30, I can't remember if it's 3,300 or 3,500. I made notes, let's see. 33, I have 3,300 in my budget for my own training, just like you guys get training. Incentive, mine is not statutory. It's something that was allowed for, so that can cover a portion of it. I don't mind to give that up for that. And then the other amount I think can come from the OTA account. We have a $60,000 expense line that's for refunds when people ask for extensions and they have to pay an estimated payment. A lot of times their estimate's too much and so they have a refund. So we have an expense line for that just in case. I have not seen that go over $30,000 in the years I've been here. So I think it would be safe to take the other 18-ish that it will cost for her to be full-time out of that line. And that's all I've got. If you've got any questions, I can answer.
So the total is 21?
21.
Is that what you're-
21.5-ish. Mhm.
That 21.5-ish is,
It's 15 more hours a week, same rate she already makes, which is 13. I'm sorry, 13, 18, because I have to remember that COLA. And then retirement on the full amount, because we haven't had to pay retirement up until this point. And then covering a health amount. And then FICA on the extra 15. We already covered FICA on the first 25.
Will any
hours.
of that additional time be used to identify those not paying and collect occupational tax?
I definitely think we could get there. I definitely think it'll be easier if we start doing online payments as well. I mean, not everybody's going to utilize that online payment, because the reason it's free to us, it's going to be free to us, is because like the transaction fees are going to be passed on to the user. I don't know what that looks like yet. I don't know if it's like a flat fee or if it's a percentage of what they owe. You're going to have a lot of people who only owe us $20, and so they're not going to want to pay a $3 fee. They'll just still send it in a check. So I think we'll still have a lot of both online payments and mail payments, but I think that that will allow us to kind of, yes, do more of the research and more of the cross-referencing with building inspection for who's in the county, that kind of thing, and coordination with Jo Beth, who's at the school office, and see if we can find some of those people. Part of my plate being too full is that I have not had time to speak with the company that we hired to try to look for people.
Yeah.
I mean, my assumption is the last time we talked is they're out there looking, and they'll come to me with people
Yeah.
that they find.
that's
They
not a
haven't come to
correct
me.
assumption.
Yeah,
There's
so-
no way.
So we'll,
And
I
so
mean,
based on their
hopefully we can get to that where
past-
we talk to them as well and see where we're at with them, which
I
they
don't-
don't get paid if they
Did
don't
that-
find anybody, so.
Right, and I don't remember if we had a time frame on that or not, but if we did, it has to be over.
I feel like they were
'Cause
gonna look back 3 years.
Zero.
Is that
No,
what
no,
we
no,
decided?
no, no, I'm saying a
Oh.
contracted amount
You know, I'm not really
of
sure
time.
if it was contracted amount for
I
a
don't-
certain amount of time.
I don't know. I know that they were going to look for a certain period of time, but I'm not for
Whatever
sure.
it is, I can tell you, I'm prepared today, if there's a 30-day out or whatever, to move to send them a letter that we're, I mean, just in case, because they're not doing,
I'll pull that
It's
so I
not
can review
happening.
it and see
Yeah.
if we had a time frame on it. I would think most contracts have a time frame, right?
yeah, I remember that. I'm saying,
Well, and
That
how
they
long
hadn't
do
come
they
to us with
have?
anything.
Because
Yeah.
we've got zero.
well, and two, we also discussed it, even if they were to bring to us, say, these numbers and these individual businesses, we still have the ability to make a decision for
Yeah.
or against.
For a
And we
certain
did,
amount of time,
we did
yeah.
approve like the standard letter that they're gonna send on our behalf. And they were supposed to send us copies of those to people that they found that they felt needed to be addressed, and I haven't seen copies of anything. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
assume that they are not, either not working on it or not finding anybody. I can't imagine that they're not finding anybody,
Right.
but
That's not that.
Yeah. The other thing that, with the treasurer's office, obviously with Erica being out, trying to pre-planning on her being out for about 12 weeks. She's still going to be available, but the duties, it's always good to have crossover duties that the employees in the office know how to manage the other one's operations, if you will. This is a good time because we've got the company coming in with the new software that are going to spend a little bit over 3 weeks going into some details as far as how the software works. And that'll be good for Brittany to
Fixing
actually
some
sit
bugs.
in, to sit in on that as well. So the timing really, we're far out in front of it to bring this to the court because there are, when is that starting? That's starting here.
yeah, we hope that they're coming towards the end of August.
Yeah, so
They'll
it's gonna be
actually
starting
send
here
somebody
pretty
for a
soon.
week from their headquarters, and we'll shut the office down. We'll choose a week where it doesn't affect payroll or our court.
So that'll be good training for her as well. Is there any other further discussion on Treasurer's Office personnel?
I'm fine with it. I mean, for years, the treasurer's office ran on 3 full-time employees. I thought when we cut down to 2 that y'all was biting off a little more than you could chew, because there's a lot of duties that come out of that office.
And things are just changing. Like
Yeah.
I said, we're gonna have single audits for 4 or 5 years, and the first time that I even realized we were gonna have to have one, I had asked Emily, sent Emily a text, and Emily couldn't remember doing one in recent history, and they're just so time-consuming, I didn't realize.
Also think if you, and if it's not an issue, because if we're not, I mean, we're basically taking budgeted items and so we're not increasing the budget or anything. But I do think that there was because a piece of this is about refunds or whatever, so if you do see that has changed, I do think that the ARPA allowed for some of those funds, if needed, to go because of increased
Yeah, really, yeah, any accounting that has to be
personnel
done,
due
auditing that
to.
has to be done.
So if we had to, because it's not going to be a lot of money, I feel like if we had to, we could at least justify that covering that, because we're obviously going to have more duties for several years based on that, so just a suggestion, if we have to.
We get in that spot where we need more
Yes.
refunds.
Let's see, if the court entertains the motion to make her position full-time, should we do 2 separate motions as far as where the monies are going to come from, or combine the 2?
I'll add the transfer to the transfers I'm presenting today too, so we'll have 2 additions. And
So the appropriations would cover, okay. So if there's a motion, just make sure that the motion is to approve the full-time hours with the appropriation to be added for the amount.
So moved.
I know you said 21,500-ish, but the appropriation will have the actual dollar amount.
yes, I will have the actual dollar amount by the time we
Second.
get to that part.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item C under new business, road department personnel.
So these are 3 road department increases per their payroll policy that had been passed by the previous court, which, again, I think we will discuss that when we do the second reading of the amendment to the admin code. But these are per that policy. Jason Neal, wage increase to $19.12, effective 7/1/21. It's a 180-day probation increase. Sean Hamlet, effective 8/2, wage increase to $20.74. This is a 1-year increase. And then Cole Siebert, effective 8/2/21, increase to $19.30, and this is a 180-day probation increase.
Move we approve all 3.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report.
Okay, I put a treasurer's report on your drive. That's for our 4th quarter of 2021, and that's due at the end of the month following the end of the quarter. So that's on there for you all. It was also submitted to DLG. I'm going to do some recon of the payroll account, which might change a few things on there. And if it does, I'll do a revised for you all. So I know that I'm going to look at that further, so that we likely will have a revised one of those. But to satisfy the requirements of the state's timeline and the timeline I presented to you, I've given it to you today. And likely you'll see a revised one at the next meeting. Just to let you know in advance.
Item E, transfers.
Okay. All right, so the transfers, as it is on the drive, the first one is from the general fund investments to the 911 center upfit. That's for the 911 upfit project. It's $15,000. The second one is from general fund investments to capital projects. It's $68,160, and that represents about 4 or 5 invoices for Jonathan Creek Water Project. The first one, of course, requires a bank transfer. The second one does not, which I will remind you again when we do the bank transfer part. And then we just discussed adding one from the general fund investments line for the insurance money to capital projects. I went ahead and rounded that up to $5,500 to cover the bill that was for the HVAC repair. And then the second one we talked about was from the treasurer's training incentive line, $3,300 out of there. OTA refund line, it's going to be $18,244.57 out of there. And that total amount will go into the treasurer's part-time employee line. And that will also need a bank transfer because it's from one fund to the other. So bank transfers are from the general fund to 911 for $15,000 and from the OTA fund to the general fund for the total, which is $21,544.57.
Move we approve the appropriation transfers with those changes included.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I don't know if I need to present to you all a separate personnel sheet. Brad and I are in disagreement. He doesn't think I need to for what you just approved, but we didn't say an effective date. And so the effective date would be today for her to go from part-time to full-time, and her rate of pay would not change. He still doesn't think we needed another.
What was it? That wasn't in the motion.
The effective date was not in the motion.
It was just that she would move to part-time to
Full-time.
full-time.
Need to put it in there.
Effective date.
Okay. Do we need to rescind the motion?
We can just do a new one.
Just do a new one? Okay.
Reflect that, just do a new motion to reflect that it be effective immediately.
Okay. Make a motion to make the treasurer's office part-time employee to full-time effective immediately.
Second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Bills and claims. Is there any, do I hear any opposed to the bills and claims? Hearing none, we'll direct the fiscal court clerk to pay the bills and claims. There a motion to adjourn?
Roger, Jim.
Is there any issue of me not being able to get in and get my policy book approved?
Yeah, if you can come downstairs, we need to talk. Yep.
I mean, the problem is I'm just non-compliant right now, and I've got to respond to DOT within just a few days.
Yeah, the 30 days, the action plan, have you submitted the action plan?
No, I haven't, because I was going to submit that whenever I got it approved to them.
The action plan doesn't have to have approval, but it needs to be submitted within 30 days.
Right.
Actually, you're over the 30 days.
Well, I think I've got 2 days left. From the time I received the email.
With the letter that's dated, is dated, we can talk about it downstairs, but yeah. We'll get to an end goal. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.